Depression has been something that I've been riding shotgun with for as long as I can remember, and I never remember giving that son of a bitch shotgun in the first place. And although I was unaware that I had clinical depression until last year, I always knew something was off. In a previous video, I opened up and I discussed how I've been living with depression and anxiety for most of my life, and I wasn't sure how many of you guys would respond to it. It was tough for me to make. I didn't know how it was going to be perceived, and I'm really grateful that it helped some of you, and I appreciate all the kind words and comments I received, and I'm glad that just being vulnerable on a platform like this has just allowed me to be able to connect with a lot of you on a deeper level, and I'm grateful for that. A lot of you asked me to go deeper into the topic of depression, and I'm happy to because I think it's a worthy topic that lacks a lot of discussion in today's day and age, especially considering how many people have it. And I'm just going to discuss how I deal with depression every day and what I've done that has helped me alleviate a lot of this shit and help me just get through life the best I can. If you're battling depression, just know that you're not alone. It's the most common mental health issue, and it affects both men and women equally. I want to say that being depressed alone is not enough to describe depression. Everyone goes through stages where they face melancholy or have bad days, and that's just normal and a part of life. These emotions tend to dissipate over short periods of time. You typically know why you are facing these periods of sadness or depression, and you're able to justify it. Whereas depression is more of a clinical state where it doesn't matter what's happening in your life, good or bad, you just constantly have this dark cloud of negativity and sadness just hovering over you always. Our feelings are a direct result of our thoughts, and the thoughts that we have dictate the decisions we make. And when we have negative thoughts and negative feelings, we tend to just have negative choices, and those negative choices can really impact our lives, and that just exacerbates the depression that much more. And when this happens, it creates just a negative cycle of continuous bad behavior and negative thought, and it's really difficult to get out of. And when I was at the height of my depression earlier last year, I didn't even want to live at one point, and it just made things really hard. It made it hard for me to get out of bed. It made it hard for me to be grateful for what I had, and it made it really hard for me to ask for help. But luckily, I decided that I didn't want to live like this anymore. And I know depression is a medical condition, and it doesn't completely go away no matter what. But once I decided to get help, I started to incorporate 6 techniques into my daily life that have helped me tremendously in not having these daily thoughts and struggles consume my life and my decision making, and I hope they will help you too. And these are all backed by medical research, and they're all routinely suggested when you're going through cycles of medication or therapy, and they're just good to incorporate into your life whether you have depression or not. The first thing is goal setting, and goal setting is massive, not only for your development, but for depression as well, because it helps you work towards something. Now, when determining and discussing goals with others, a lot of people feel really bad because they may be thinking that these goals are illogical, or they're out of reach, or they're just absurd, or they can't accomplish it. And if your goal is not manageable or reasonable, or if it's something that is just out of your control, then I get why people would feel like that. I found it really challenging to set goals a lot of my life because I didn't think I could achieve what I really wanted to. I didn't think I was good enough. And I let my depression kind of dictate my decision making, and I hated myself for that. And so once I started to make more of a smart approach towards my goal setting, and I set things that were realistic and manageable and obtainable and were within my control, my depression was a bit more at bay because I'm able to focus on things daily that are going to help me achieve a goal that I know I can actually reach if I work hard enough. When I'm too busy focusing on my goals, I'm able to put my depression at bay because I'm not thinking about it. All I'm really thinking about are things that I can work towards that are going to make me happy, like delivering value to this YouTube channel. And I'm not even thinking about my depression right now. I'm just thinking about making good videos and bettering myself. So if you guys haven't set goals for this year, then check out the video I had just made about goal setting. And I think within gathering a list of things that you want to achieve, it is going to help your depression as long as you take a smart approach to it. The next thing I like to do that has helped me a lot with my depression is to schedule events that I look forward to. I'm typically a very spontaneous person, and I don't like to plan things out in advance. And so earlier this year, I decided to plan a trip for my birthday. I don't like celebrating my birthdays. It's uncomfortable for me to get all the attention. I just kind of avoid it and celebrate everybody else's. But I said, all right, I'm gonna plan it out. And so we planned out a cool trip. And when I went, I had so much fun. And I was just like, all right, dude, Start doing this more often, start planning trips out, because number one, you're missing out on this fun, and you're looking forward now to things that are going to better your life and make you feel joy and be less depressed. This has allowed me to practice gratitude more now, and now that I'm like looking forward to the future, I'm not as depressed and focusing on all the bad things that happened today. I'm now excited for things that are gonna come, and I think that is very important to have in your life. The next one is probably the most important, and it is just your overall exercise, diet, and sleep. When even one of these three are off, it can offset your mood completely. Even if you just get 7 hours of sleep instead of 8, it can really like mess with you, and it could screw up your entire day. And when you don't sleep well, you're less likely to go work out. And when you don't work out, you're probably not gonna care as much what you're eating. And when you screw up all three of those things, it could just set you off track on so many different levels. And I would do that all the time. I would just neglect my sleep because I would stay up late, and then I wouldn't feel like working out, and I would eat whatever, and I'd say, okay, it's just one day. And then that would compound over time, and then sure as shit, a month later, I'm like not even in shape anymore, and I'm super depressed because of it. So not only am I feeling bad because of all the things that I did, plus being clinically depressed, it just made everything just terrible. Your mood can be significantly improved if you work out 5 times a week for 30-minute sessions. And that might sound like a lot, but that just comes down to 2.5 hours a week of body movement. That's really not that much if you think about it. I'm actually currently doing a in the gym every day for 30 days challenge right now, and I feel so much better. It is insane. Not only do I look better, but my energy levels are up. I'm in such a better mood. I'm not depressed, and I feel great. And it's hard. Like I think at the end, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I think it'll be a good video if I make it. But bottom line is exercising has helped my depression in so many ways, more ways than one. And if you are able to just get in the gym for 30 minutes, and whether that be like running or weight training or a combination of both, you're going to see a massive change very quickly. And now that I'm working out a ton, I'm really cautious and careful about what I eat lately. So I'm constantly checking the back of packages, seeing if there's a ton of saturated fat. I'm staying clear of alcohol for this time period. And the two together have just built just a solid combination that has just made me more focused and more aware and more healthy. And yeah, overall, that's going to lift my depression, and I could see why I haven't been as depressed lately. And eliminating alcohol is a no-brainer for depression because it's a depressant. But caffeine is not only a stimulant, but it's also been linked to depression as well, especially when it's combined with sugar. And I thought that was very interesting because I pound coffee and pre-workout all the time, and I was putting 2 and 2 together, and it made sense why my crash would be so intense and how that would play into my depression. So not only limiting alcohol, but limiting caffeine as well has been something that has not only worked for me, but I think will be very beneficial for you as well. A surefire way to feel depression is to stay up super late and then sleep in all day the next day. When people don't get enough sleep, this can cause physical and emotional changes. You may feel fatigued, have a harder time making decisions, and be a lot more irritable. And you guessed it, all these symptoms can contribute to feeling depressed. And lack of sleep can affect the production of your body's hormones like serotonin, which affects your mood. And when you're sleep deprived, that's when you're more likely to have these negative thoughts of rumination and guilt and everything else, and that all contributes to your depressive state. And it's not a good idea to just not get any sleep. What's helped me a lot is trying to go to bed and waking up at the same time every day. I try to make the bedroom as relaxing as possible by dimming the lights, getting rid of my phone, and just making it just a very comfortable place just for sleep. And when I exercise in the morning, I'm exhausted by like 9 p.m. when I go to bed. So it's a lot easier for me to get to that point where I'm waking up early to go to the gym and then going to bed early to sleep, and kind of getting on that continuous cycle of doing the same thing every day, which is going to result in me getting more fit and better sleep. The next thing that's helped me a ton with my depression is building on my relationships. When you're depressed, typically the last thing you want to do is talk to other people. You like staying in your room or just confining yourself to an environment where you don't have to deal with the outside world. But I found it so helpful for my depression to surround myself around good people. And even if I don't feel like it, I know that once I'm there and I'm with them and I'm with the right people, they're gonna cheer me up and they're gonna make me feel a lot better. And on the flip side, there's a lot of friendships that I've had to end in the past because they fueled the fire of my depression because they were always so negative or they just didn't provide value in my life. And I guess it's subjective to define what value is, but if there's people in your life that are taking up more energy than they're giving, then you may not want to have them in your life. They may be contributing to your depression, and I have found that out the hard way. Depression could often zap motivation, and that's what may make some of you guys have a hard time incorporating these into your life because it takes a lot of energy, and when you're depressed, you don't want to do any of it. But this is what's been helpful for me outside of talking to a doctor and medication and all that. I found that these techniques have worked best for me to help lift my depression, and I hope that you guys can find strength and energy to incorporate one, if not more, into your lives. I hope this video brought some value to you. If it did, please hit that like button and also subscribe. I make new videos every week on optimizing your mental, physical, and financial health. Check out the links in my description, and you can check out more of my videos here. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.